r/AskReddit. What industry is a lot shadier than it seems? The maritime industry. Most of the big companies do things by the book and treat crews well, because they're afraid of lawsuits and unions. But many smaller mom and pop companies break laws and violate safety regulations with reckless abandon, because they're not as visible and can stay under the radar, so to speak. It's very common for a small company to ask a captain, crew to do something illegal and dangerous in order to increase profit, and for the captain, crew to comply out of fear of losing their jobs. And that's just the US maritime industry. Sailors from poorer nations who work on ships are often fed little more than rice and cheap ramen for months at a time and paid pennies for their back-breaking work. I love running tugs for a living, but the industry as a whole is rife with shady business. I don't know if it falls under maritime, but I took one look at the job listing for a cruise ship and now I tell all my co-workers to never take a job with one. I'm a stagehand and theater technician. I make decent money fresh out of college, $18.24 an hour depending on venue, even without joining the union, because I do specialized work. Looked into a lighting tech spot on a cruise ship, and I'd be getting minimum wage working 50 hours and 7 days a week. Wi-Fi on board costs money out of my paycheck. I'd be in charge of passenger safety off hours if an alarm goes off and we have to get people onto rescue rafts. I'd have a roommate in a small bunk, and all my wages would go directly into a ship debit card so I could give my income straight back to the company to eat. Something about living and working on a boat in the middle of the ocean seems to make employers think they don't have to actually care for their employees. I can imagine working on a boat that isn't filled with people on vacation would be even worse. For your information, life on a US flagged container ship is actually pretty sweet. Sailors get spacious, private accommodations, free Wi-Fi, 3 full meals a day of varying quality, and a strictly enforced work-hour cycle to prevent exhaustion. Go on. Hey man, you're captain. You should already know. Dietary supplements. It's gotten better, but there's still a lot of half-truths and whole lies. Not all that long ago it was seriously like the wild wild west. And doing your own research is nearly impossible since the signal-to-noise ratio of the information is so low. Add in the whole bodybuilding and fitness industry that sits on top of supplements. The outrage is so huge I don't even want to start on it. Insta models, etc. All industries are shadier than they seem. I used to work for a flute manufacturer and it was shady as hell. Deeds. I don't want to name the manufacturer, but it was around the 2008 financial crisis and the place was equity owned and leveraged to fricking Mars. The CEO was committing bank fraud and screwing contractors while laying off employees and enriching himself. Was there a whistleblower among the flutists? Trucking. The margins are razor thin and so everyone is trying to nickel and dime each other constantly. The drivers lie to their dispatchers, the dispatchers lie to the brokers lie to the clients. All of this for like $50, $100 sometimes. I worked in trucking and the head HR lady for our distribution center was skimming payroll, shorting the checks of the lowest people on the totem pole, then getting cash infusions to petty cash and corporate to return part of the theft as an emergency tide over until the employee's next check, then claiming the rest of the theft as an overage on the next payroll report. I am probably missing a step in her chain, but I am not an accountant. It was a scam she managed to work for a couple of years due to a lack of oversight during nationwide management shifts. When she finally got caught, rather than take the bad publicity, the company just let her leave. The last I heard she was working in the same position in an adjacent industry, but still involving transportation. C'est la vie. LOL, classic accounting scam. It's literally in my accounting 101 book. Avocado farms. Most of the farms in Central America are taken over by the cartel because of how much money is in selling avocados. I'm surprised there aren't more in the US. Avocado trees are damn picky. Only grows in certain places and if everything isn't absolutely perfect, they die. You can grow giant, itty avocados in Florida. I remember how shocked I was when I bought a massive avocado in New Jersey and it tasted like absolute it. The trick is to slice it, apply salt and lemon juice, then throw it in the trash. Pet industry. Basement puppy mills and dogs that are so inbred they can hardly breathe. There are plenty of ethical breeders out there, and some unlicensed breeders are ethical even if in a legal grey zone. But the conditions of some of the so-called puppy mills can be really bad. Sometimes when breeds are mixed and the pup gets the recessive genes the breeders weren't looking for, they straight up euthanize it because they know it won't sell. Not to mention how many purebreds are actually not pure at all and sold as is. Shady. CBD. Lot of predatory companies making subpar products with questionable raw materials and then marking it way the frick up and selling it as a miracle cure to vulnerable and ill-educated consumers. Usually have a high-power legal team on deck, but pay their workers it and no benefits. Are CBD products, not the actual marijuana, regulated, or are they like the vitamin industry where most all of the products are suspect and aren't FDA approved? No FDA approvals now, just testing to ensure it's below the hemp line in THC. Doesn't the beauty industry have a problem with child labor? I remember watching a thing where a journalist goes to India to see the mines where children mine some sort of mineral to make bronzer. Yes, they mine mica and it's in almost every beauty product. It adds shimmer to the product. Advertising. We don't really give a frick if it works. We already got your money. Even better, it's practically impossible to say it didn't work. Your sales stayed flat. Just think how much they would have dropped if you didn't run that ad campaign. And when you go out of business, we sell to the business that takes your place. Jewelry, gems, diamonds is pretty dark. I've seen that movie. Sunglass industry. Punny business. But, yes, it's true. I'll use Oakley as an example, because it's literally close to home. Oakley has not been the same since they were bought out. Oakley was a great company to work for with great bonuses, swag, and extremely high company morale. Their HQ is one of the coolest buildings you could find and the people were always happy to work for a legendary company that really treated their employees right. Oakley knew their customers well, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. And Luxottica wanted that business. Luxottica bought them out in the end, but not through Oakley's own will. You see, Luxottica owns nearly all the major glasses brands and the stores that carry them. They are one step short of a full monopoly of the entire global eyewear industry. Luxottica wanted Oakley, so they took Oakley off all the shelves of every major glasses retailer until Oakley could do nothing but give in. Squeezed dry until they had to be bought at nicer price for Luxottica. Generally this is why antitrust law needs to actually be enforced. This industry is basically a textbook example of how it goes wrong if left to itself. As a chef owner, I would say delivery services like Grubhub. They take 30% of the sale, leaving the restaurant with basically $0 in profit. And their customer support is a joke. It's like they hate us. Frick them. Never again. Yelp has been teaming with Grubhub to only list restaurants' Grubhub contact numbers, not their direct line. So they have to pay Grubhub for the order even though you called it in. Everyone to just stop using Yelp completely. They are a fricking it company. It looks like they changed it, but my favorite Yelp bullet used to be that their web app had two different filters for if a restaurant offered takeout. One prominently placed one that said takeout, and another buried in the other filter categories labeled takeout. The former would only show restaurants that offered takeout ordering through Yelp, meaning they get a cut. Not an industry, but higher academia is badly broken. Some of the smartest people are some of the most badly exploited. Old tenured professors limit the number of faculty many departments can have, forcing people to work as postdocs forever, effectively doing all the work the prof should be doing in the first place. Meager pay and long hours, plus constant pressure makes postdocs some of the most depressed people. The grad students are no better either. A lot of the times grad students don't complain about ill treatment, harassment and outright bullying as they don't want to jeopardize their prospects of graduating. If you're a foreigner, this situation becomes even worse, whether you're a grad student or a postdoctoral researcher. My university recently had massive protests and strikes over grad student wages and treatment. It was looking like they were gaining traction for a bit until coronavirus hit. The university responded by basically mass firing the TAs. It was really disgusting. UCS Santa Cruz? That's the one. The textbook industry. Pearson is the frickin' mafia. McGraw-Hill was the bane of my existence for years. Same. I'm really looking forward to graduating to finish school, but also so I can stop needing to buy $120 online codes for McGraw-Hill. So done with it. I hate the book so much. History book volume 7 is old, but 8 today. Why is 7 old? Because they revised a few paragraphs here and there. Textbooks are a scam. The bookstore offered me $2 for a $120 book because a new edition was pending. I took it to a used bookstore and they bought it for $35. Sounds about as bad as GameStop. Congrats, you've made it to the end. You're a beast. Like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit content. It's free, so why not just do it?